Hi everyone, and welcome to Paper Pumpkin Week here on Creative Chelsey. This week I'll be sharing 7 card ideas that you can make with one set of supplies from the October 2024 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Nest of Christmas. The projects from this kit are so pretty, with green foiled details and beautiful die-cut images, perfect for the upcoming holiday season. The kit creates a total of 10 greeting cards, 5 in these 2 different tri-fold designs, as well as coordinating envelopes with that green foil as well. If you would like to watch me unbox the kit and create these cards, click on the playlist and I'll link it up here in the top right corner. Today I'm sharing with you my first set of alternative cards. Both these cards come from the same card base. We have the outside and then the inside pieces. For the inside piece, we'll be making a quick and simple card using the die cuts and an embossing folder for the background. Then I will show you how to turn the outside piece into a frame for a shaker card. So pretty. Each month I take the contents from the Paper Pumpkin kits and make alternative projects. My cards are easy to follow and can be made by both experienced or new paper crafters. You may need just a couple other products to complete them. You can follow along with me using supplies you already have or purchase any products you see me use from my online store. And the link to all products is below in the description or on my blog, creativechelsey.com. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel so you can get updates when I post a new video, and the link is down here in the bottom. Before we begin, I also want to mention the amazing perks that you can receive when you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin with me as your demonstrator. With every Paper Pumpkin stamp set and ink spot sent, I design a card and mail out my very own card kit to my subscribers, so they can make 2 of my exclusive card design. These cards are so fun and show new ways to use the stamps and ink. We also meet once a month to make the card together, chat, and have fun. If you would also like to receive this extra perk, sign up for Paper Pumpkin using the link below and make sure to select me as your demonstrator. So we're going to take this arched card base. So this is the one with the piece that looks like this. I already popped that out. We've got kind of a pool party, snowy pattern, and then we have this Night of Navy branch pattern on the inside. We're only going to use this front piece, so let's just open it all the way up and we'll cut right along that score line, which should be about 4 1/4 inches. Let's go ahead and just save these pieces for another alternative for now. Let's go ahead and begin with this card for our first card today. You're going to need a thick basic white card base. And then you're also going to need a piece of basic white cardstock that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I wanted to add a little texture to this, and so I'm embossing it with just any embossing folder. I'm using the Forever Plaid, and I'm just going to add that to the folder and run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. All right, so I love that pattern. I've added some dimensionals in the corner, and I'm just going to pop that into the center of my card base. Just like that. We can go ahead and put this off to the side, and we're going to work on that inside piece that's removed from the card base. We're going to use the die cuts from the kit and add some dimensionals to the back. And this is the one that just kind of is the smaller branch with berries. There's 2 of them in the kit, so this is the small one. I'm placing it just in the bottom right corner with the berries kind of coming out along the edge. And then the cardinal kind of sits right in that little curve right there. just like that. And then we can pop this onto our card base with dimensionals as well. I just added one at the top and one at the bottom, but you can add as many as you would like. And then that goes right in the center. And so for this card, I wanted to do the greeting in black. I felt like I wanted to pull out some of the black details from the bird as well as the branch and berries, but you can choose to use any color cardstock here. So I'm using black cardstock with an embossing buddy. This is going to remove any static from the cardstock so that the white embossing powder only stays to the greeting. You want to stamp when you're heat embossing with Versamark ink. This is a sticky ink, and so it holds on to that powder really nicely. I'm going to go ahead and stamp Christmas along one edge, and then Mary along the other. And I'm just going to use that edge kind of as a guide to keep it straight. And then I've got this little tray here with white embossing powder, and just going to scoop some of that up and apply it over those stamped images, and then tap off any excess. Remove any pieces that might still be stuck, and then we're going to heat set this until it's shiny. I did just recently purchase the Embossing Editions kit, which comes with these really nice tweezers, and I actually really like them. At first I was like, why do I need those? I've got fingers, but it really saves my fingers from getting too hot while holding the cardstock. And if you're new to heat embossing, you just want to heat it up until the powder starts to melt and get shiny, and then you can move it to the next area. So what we're going to do here is we're now going to trim around the words. And I like to use my paper trimmer. Oh, before we do that, I do want to wipe off the excess embossing buddy, because you can kind of see that there's a little bit of powder on the top. So I just have this little towel that I keep in my craft room that I use to kind of bring the cardstock back up to its original color. So trim off the excess there. And then I have this little trick that I like to use. This is a Post-it note. This is the sticky side here on the left. And I'm going to add it about 1/4 of an inch. We'll see if that's a good amount. But from my cut line. So this is the sticky, this is the open. And then I take that edge of the Post-it note and I line it up with part of my word here. So I'm going to line it up with the top of the lowercase letters and then see, and I feel like that's a good spacing there. And then when I cut, it's going to be nice and tight around that word. And so I feel like that's given me a good amount of border on the top and bottom for that. And then I can just trim off the ends. It's just kind of another way to use the guide to get nice straight edges. Okay, so there's that. And then we're going to do the same thing with Mary, but I'm going to bring it in a little closer. So I've got the top is already close to the edge here. I just need to do the bottom part, and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit away just so I don't cut off that Y. So it's like a 1/16 of an inch or so. I feel good about that. You see how it kind of gives a nice border? There we go. Okay, so I've got my Mary, and Christmas all cut out, and I can add these to the card with dimensionals. For the Mary, I want to have it overlap just a little bit, so I'm going to use the edge of the dimensional because it's also really thin, and I'm going to place it at the top of Mary so that the bottom can overlap. I'm going to place Christmas right here. I don't want to cover up too many of those cute berries. Make sure it goes on nice and straight. And then we'll take Mary, and if you have these tweezers, this is really nice to use because they can hold little tiny things like this, so you can get your placement where you want it. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit into that Christmas, just like that. So they kind of stack on top of each other. And then the last thing I want to add are some embellishments. And I have these adhesive backed sparkle gems. They come in gold, black, and silver with this really pretty sparkle on them. And so I wanted to add these in black, just to kind of keep that black accent going. They come in a large and a small size, so you can kind of mix and match those. I'm just going to kind of put 3 up in the top right area. I might actually move this one up a little higher. Oh, the sticky stayed. Let's see if I can gently pull that up. If not, it can stay there. Let's go just a little higher. There we go. And then I'm going to put 2 down at the bottom, a small and a large. Just kind of stagger those. And that card is all done. Let's go ahead and move to card number 2. So when I saw this piece from the Cardbase, I immediately thought of a shaker card. And these cute little snowflake shaker elements are perfect for it because it kind of coordinates nicely with that pool party snowflake feeling. And I love pocket shakers, so that's what we're going to make today. They're really quick and easy, and all you need is a clear envelope. So that's what I have here. It's kind of hard to see. This is the top. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it down so that it fits inside just the traditional card size. So that is going to be smaller than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let's start by removing the top of the envelope where the adhesive is, and I'm just going to trim it to 5 3/8. Actually, let's go to 5 1/4. I think that will be plenty. This has a nice big border all the way around, and so we can do that. So let's go to 5 1/4 inches. And then let's go to 4 inches. So we're going to have 2 open sides. I think that should be fine. So we need to close off one side. I'm going to go ahead and close off the long side with some of that tear and tape that came in the kit. It's a nice large piece, so we can actually put it half on, half off. Let me grab my silicone craft sheet. If you have one of these are really nice. Maybe that will also help you so you can see. So this is the area here that is open, and I'm going to take my tear and tape and put half on, half off, and then tear. So you can see that I still have some on and off. And then I'm going to fold this over and seal off that edge. Just like that. Okay. So now I've got this pocket that can hold my shaker elements. And we'll put those in just a minute. Let's go ahead and just add this to this piece for now. See how that just sits so perfectly? So that's all good. You know what, before we do that, let's add this adhesive for the top as well. Having a hard time Let's just put it half on, half off, just like we did before. Okay. We're going to remove the paper side. There we go. And this side is the sticky side from the top. And I want that facing up when I add it to my frame, so that way I can fold it over that opening. Okay, so what I'm really doing here is just attaching this side on this way, just like that. Okay, so I'm not attaching that top part yet. And then I can also go ahead and add some tear and tape around the other sides. And this is just holding it in place, so it doesn't need to be perfect. And you can see that I'm lifting up the edge here. That's a little thick, so I'm going to actually make it a little smaller and then take my tear and tape and cut it in half. And add that here. And again, it just needs to hold it in place. So as long as it's hiding, you don't want it showing. Just add this little piece here, just because I can. Let's go ahead and remove those. Okay. And then you just want to lay this down nice and straight across the frame, so it's nice and smooth. Okay, so now we've applied the plastic envelope or little pocket to the front or the back of our frame. Okay, and we've got the opening at the pocket at the top, and we're going to add our snowflakes now. I'm using these white loose snowflakes from Stampin' Up, and I will list the product information below in the description or on my blog, so if you want to make any purchases, you can do so. Make sure to list me as your demonstrator. It just helps me be able to make more of these videos. And I'm going to put in, you want to put in enough that you can see them. So do you see how the bottom is kind of covered and it's peeking through? That's what I'm going to do. These are pretty thick, and so when they are going to make the pocket kind of bulge a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is actually kind of spread them out so that they're not all in one location, so that I can kind of get them, they're kind of stuck right there, kind of just in one flat, I want them in one layer. Okay, so if you have any that are kind of standing up, kind of put them down so that it's all just one layer. And then you can see that it makes things a little bit smoother. And then you can fold over the tear and tape once you have all the shaker elements in there. And you can add anything you want here. You could do glitter, you could do sequins, whatever you have. I really liked these snowflakes. Okay. So once you remove that paper, you can stick that down, and then you've got your shaker. So fun. I really love that. Okay. For the card base, I'm using a card base of Pool Party cardstock, which is the same color as the outside on that frame. So it's going to feel very cohesive. And you can see those snowflakes really nicely with the background being Pool Party. If you want to add any stamps, like the leaf stamp from the kit, you can do that. I wanted to keep it nice and simple so that the snowflakes really stood out. You do want to give a little bit of space And so I am going to pop this on with dimensionals. So once you've added the dimensionals and removed them, the paper backing from them, you're going to line this up, and it's going to be all the way. It's a full card front, so you're going to put it all the way up to the edges and the corners of your card base. Just like that. So cute. And I love how they actually most stay in place, because then you can really see them instead of being like, if they were all hiding, then you really wouldn't see them. So it's kind of nice to be able to see them there. So from the kit, you're going to need that larger pine branch die cut, and I'm going to pop it up with more dimensionals. I love adding layers and dimension with those layers with dimensionals. I'm going to place it so the berries are along the outside edge, and you don't want any of those edges to come off of the edge of your card so that it fits nicely inside an envelope. And then the cardinal is actually from the stamp, and so I really wanted to use what I had in the kit, and because we have this nice large white space from the envelope, I'm going to use that to stamp on. So what we're going to do is let's open up our envelope by removing the edges, and we're going to use this front part for another card. So we're just going to use the back today, so make sure to save that. And when you cut this, you really want to just trim it as close to the edge as you can so you don't remove that gold foiling, because we really want that for our alternative that uses the envelope. So this is what I'm going to stamp on. This is the back of the envelope, and I'm going to stamp with Memento black ink and color my bird in with Stampin' Blend markers. You can use any coloring medium that you have. I really love the way that the Stampin' Blend markers look. And so just put this in the corner. And I'm using Real Red, and there's a light and a dark color to the combo pack. So you're going to start with your light color and just fill in the whole bird with red. Don't do the beak, and then also I kind of leave a little circle of white around the eye. Not sure if you can see that. It doesn't need to be perfect, but just so that you don't color over with all red. So leave that little white around the eye. I like to go around the edge first and then kind of fill in. Then to add a little depth, I'm going to take the dark red and just add some shadows. So under the bird, along the tail, under the wing, on the wing a little bit, just to give some variation, and maybe a little bit along the top of the head. If you want to smooth that color out, you can by going back over it with your light. And when you do that, it really blends those colors together. For the feet, I am using light Cajun Craze. And it's just a nice orangey brown color. And I'm also going to take that color and add it to the bottom of the beak and a little bit along the edge that meets with the body. And then I'll take Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to go with the dark color, and I'm going to fill in the beak. And it gives me this nice yellow. I'm going to take the little bit of the light to lighten up just the top. Just gives me a nice yellowy gold color for the beak. I think that looks really great. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this out. This bird is not hard to fussy cut. It's got nice simple shape. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. And then we're going to go ahead and pop that on with dimensionals. And I'm going to place it right in the middle of this branch. Don't want to cover up too many of the berries, so try to make sure that you can see those after you've added it. And then for the greeting, I am using one of the labels from the kit, and I wanted to coordinate a little bit more of the red into the card. So I'm using real red ink. You could probably get away with any red ink color that you have. And I also wanted to use this Happy Holidays and stamp that right in the center. And of course, we're going to pop that on with dimensionals. And I really wanted to put this kind of close to the top, so where the straight edge kind of stops and turns into a curve is kind of where I'm looking. So right about there. And your card is all done. I didn't add any twine or outside embellishments because I feel like the shaker card gives it some really fun elements, and you don't need to overdo it. And so I just love how that card turned out. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create these 2 fun cards today. If you're interested in getting your own paper pumpkin kit, please use the link below to subscribe. If you would like to see close-up images or written instructions on how I created this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.